In today's video, we'll go through some of the most terrifying airplane crashes in history. These incidents shook the world and left lasting impact on aviation safety. Join us as we explore the events leading up to these tragic moments and uncover the lessons learned from these unforgettable disasters. Airbus A320, Air France Flight 296. Air France Flight 296Q was a chartered flight of a new Airbus A320-111 operated by Air Charter International for Air France. On 26 June 1988, the plane crashed while making a low pass over Mulhouse-Habsheim airfield as part of the Habsheim Airshow. Most of the crash sequence, which occurred in front of several thousand spectators, was caught on video. This particular flight was the A320's first passenger flight, and most of those on board were journalists and raffle competition winners, having won tickets as part of a promotional event by local businesses. Many, including several unaccompanied children, had never previously been on an airplane. The low-speed flyover with landing gear down was supposed to take place at an altitude of 100 feet. Instead, the plane performed the flyover at 13 feet, skimmed the treetops of the forest at the end of the runway, and crashed. All 136 passengers survived the initial impact, but 3 then died of smoke inhalation from the subsequent fire. A quadriplegic boy in seat 4F, a 7-year-old little girl in seat 8C, trapped by her seat being pushed forward and struggling to open the seatbelt, and an adult who, according to her partner, had reached the exit with him but then turned back to try to help the 7-year-old. The child had been traveling with her older brother but seated apart. He was swept out by a flow of escapees as he tried to find his sister. Official reports concluded that the pilots flew too low, too slow, failed to see the forest, and accidentally flew into it. The captain, Michel Asselin, disputed the report and claimed an error in the fly-by-wire computer prevented him from applying thrust and pulling up. 5 individuals, including the captain and first officer, were later found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Captain Asselin, who maintained his innocence, went on to serve 10 months in prison and a further 10 months probation. This was the first fatal crash of an Airbus A320. Boeing C-17 Globemaster 3. On July 28, 2010, tragedy struck at Elmendorf Air Force Base in Alaska during a practice session for the Arctic Thunder Air Show. A C-17 Globemaster 3, a staple of US air shows, was involved in a fatal crash that claimed the lives of all 4 crew members on board. The aircraft, part of the US Air Force, was performing a routine training flight in preparation for the upcoming air show. As the C-17 took off from runway 06, the pilot executed a sharp right turn after a left turn following the initial climb. However, during the turn, the stall warning system activated, indicating an imminent stall. Instead of following stall recovery procedures, the pilot continued the turn, leading to a stall from which recovery was not possible. The aircraft crashed and exploded in a fireball about 2 miles from the airfield. The crew members who tragically lost their lives in the crash were Major Michael Freiholtes and Major Aaron Malone, both pilots assigned to the Alaska Air National Guard's 249th Airlift Squadron. Captain Jeffrey Hill, a pilot assigned to Elmendorf's active duty Air Force's 517th Airlift Squadron, and Senior Master Sergeant Thomas E. Circado, a loadmaster also from the Alaska Air National Guard's 249th Airlift Squadron. The subsequent investigation concluded that the crash was a result of pilot error, specifically the pilot's overconfidence in executing an aggressive right turn maneuver, ignoring the warnings provided by the aircraft's stall warning system. This tragedy serves as a stark reminder of the risks associated with aero displays and the importance of following proper safety protocol. Boeing B-52 Stratofortress. On June 24, 1994, tragedy struck at Fairchild Air Force Base in Washington when a United States Air Force Boeing B-52 Stratofortress crashed, claiming the lives of all 4 crew members on board. The pilot, Lieutenant Colonel Arthur Bud Holland, maneuvered the bomber beyond its operational limits, leading to the loss of control and the subsequent crash. The crash, captured on video and shown repeatedly on news broadcasts worldwide, sparked an investigation that identified several factors contributing to the crash. These factors included the actual crash sequence, the personality and earlier behavior of Bud Holland, previous supervision, and the lack of corrective action exercised by USAF officers over Holland, mission planning and execution, and other environmental and human factors. The mission plan for the flight called for a demanding series of low-altitude passes, 60 degrees bank turns, a steep climb, and a touch-and-go landing. During the final moments of the flight, Holland attempted a 360 degrees left turn at a low altitude of about 250 feet above ground level. As the aircraft completed 3/4 of the turn, it banked past 90 degrees, descended rapidly, clipped power lines, and crashed, exploding on impact. The crash of the B-52 at Fairchild Air Force Base serves as a somber reminder of the importance of compliance with safety regulations and the critical need to correct the behavior of anyone who violates safety procedures. It is now used in military and civilian aviation environments as a case study in teaching crew resource management. TransAsia Airways Flight 235. TransAsia Airways Flight 235, an ATR 72-600, was on a routine trip from Taipei, Taiwan to Kinmen, a nearby island. However, shortly after takeoff, the aircraft encountered a critical engine failure. Engine 2 experienced a flameout, meaning the flame in the combustion chamber was extinguished, leading to a loss of power. In a tragic sequence of events, the flight crew mistakenly shut down Engine 1 instead of Engine 2. This error caused the aircraft to rapidly lose altitude. During its descent, the plane's left wing struck a taxi on the Huandong Viaduct and the viaduct itself before crashing into the water and breaking apart. Dramatic footage of the collision on the Huandong Viaduct was captured by a dashcam, illustrating the severity of the impact. Sadly, out of the 53 passengers and 5 crew members on board, only 15 people survived this devastating crash. Boeing 747-400 National Airlines Flight 102. National Airlines Flight 102 was en route to Dubai from Bagram Airfield in Afghanistan for a fuel stop. The circumstances surrounding this flight were particularly challenging due to the conflict in the region. It was standard procedure for planes to take off at a more aggressive angle to avoid potential enemy fire. Tragically, investigations into the crash suggest that this aggressive takeoff angle may have caused a shift in cargo, overloading the plane's tail and leading to a stall. Dashcam video footage captured the horrifying moment when the Boeing 747 plummeted to the ground, exploding in a ball of fire and gas. The 2013 crash resulted in the loss of all 7 American crew members on board. This tragic event serves as a stark reminder of the dangers faced by aviation crews operating in conflict zones. Sknyliv Sukhoi Su-27 Ukrainian Air Force.
In the western Ukraine near the Polish border. The aircraft exploded on impact into the crowded perimeter of the main runway.
The Sknyliv air show disaster occurred on July 27, 2002 at the Sknyliv airfield near Lviv, Ukraine, during an aerobatics presentation commemorating the 60th anniversary of the Ukrainian Air Force's 14th Air Corps. The Ukrainian Air Force Sukhoi Su-27B, piloted by Volodymyr Toponar and co-piloted Yuri Yegorov of the Ukrainian Falcons, crashed crashed during the performance, resulting in the deaths of 77 people and injuring 543 others, making it the deadliest air show accident in history. During the air show, with over 10,000 spectators in attendance, the Su-27 aircraft entered a rolling maneuver at low altitude. As it descended rapidly, the left wing dropped, causing the aircraft to hit the ground and explode. The pilots initiated ejection, surviving with minor injuries, while 77 spectators, including 28 children, were killed. Another 100 spectators were hospitalized for various injuries, while 543 people in total were injured in the accident. Some bystanders also suffered serious mental disasters from witnessing the tragedy. Following the disaster, an investigation revealed that the pilots received a flight map that differed from the actual layout of the aircraft. Additionally, the pilots were criticized for being slow to react to automated warnings issued by the flight computer. In the aftermath, Ukrainian President Leonid Kuchma publicly blamed the military for the disaster and dismissed the head of the Air Force, General Viktor Strennikov. Pilot Volodymyr Toponar and co-pilot Yuri Yegorov were sentenced to 14 and 8 years in prison, respectively, for failing to follow orders, negligence, and violating flight rules. Despite this, Toponar maintained his innocence, citing technical problems and a faulty flight plan as the cause of the crash. The world of aviation is filled with stories of triumph and tragedy, reminding us of the risks and sacrifices involved in the pursuit of flight, from the heart-wrenching disasters like the Air France Flight 296, the Fairchild Air Force Base B-52 crash, to the Sknyliv air show disaster. These events have left a lasting impact on aviation safety and the lives of those affected. As we explore these stories, we are reminded of the importance of learning from the past to improve the future of aviation. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to stay updated with our latest videos. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.